And ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. You know who I am. You know how things are going. I am Jay, aka the Moderate Texan, your friend, your man in the middle, and the guy who's looking to bring you right back to the middle. How are you doing, everybody? It's been a while. I know that I have been out. That kind of sucked a bit for y'all. And for me, I didn't get to watch a lot of film, but I needed a bit of a recharge. I had some stuff I had to take care of. I was out of town a lot. We're back. We're back to watch some film. We're back to start grading the Texans again. And we will get those other reviews out there. They are going to be a little bit later in the season, but I will get them out there as soon as I have some time and as soon as it is possible for me to review those two games, that being the Bucks and the one prior to the Bucks, which I believe was the Panthers. So I will be reviewing those games as soon as I possibly can. As always, you guys know who I am. Like I said, I'm Jay, aka the Moderate Texan. You are on and listening to the Moderate Texan podcast. It's good to have you with me. Good to have you with us. If you don't mind, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you can. It's free to do, helps the channel out a bit. Let's see if we can't get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be pretty cool. Didn't ever think I would get 100 subscribers at all. I wasn't looking to get that many, but hey, if you guys want to hear what I'm saying, go ahead and like, go ahead and comment, go ahead and subscribe. As always, you can find me on social media. You'll see my email down below. That is themoderatetexan@gmail.com. You'll also see my Twitter /X, whatever the heck you want to call it, account. It is there as well. It is, as you see on the screen below, right here-ish. You see it's Jay at the Moderate Texan, or just at the Moderate Texan, which is the one on a little lower there. You can find me there as well. And if you have my number, if you're on Discord, VT has a good Discord group. Texans Thoughts Discord is out there as well. Go ahead and join those servers. I'm always willing to talk to people. Just get in contact with VT, who is Brown Chubby Bear, right there in the chat. Good to see you, V. Thanks for coming in. And then you can also find all of these episodes. I upload them weekly, but you will see them, or when I record, obviously, but you will see them on Spotify. You'll see them on YouTube, or actually it's going to be Google Podcasts, and which is soon to be called YouTube Music again, and then Apple Podcasts. It is all there as well. Lastly, as you guys know, and we're going to kind of get into a little bit of a serious subject here with the quick side note. Usually I like to ask a deep thinking question, but this was a kind of a hard week. So my first question before we dive into it is there anything you guys need me to pray for? You guys know I'm here for you. I'm here to bring you Texans content, any other content that you want me to bring, but I want to know if there's anything you want me to pray for. If you don't want to put it in the chat, you can definitely do that. Or if you want to comment on the video, if you want to be more private, you can DM me on Twitter, send me an email. If you have my number, you can call me. If you're on Discord, you can message me. Do whatever you need to do. Feel free to get that out there. Whether you believe what I believe or not, I'm here for you. Whether you just need good thoughts sent your way, somebody to hear you, whatever that may be. And I'm going to lead that into my section, which is a quick side note. The quick side note for today is going to be a bit different. Normally, it's kind of something that's upbeat, something that's pretty cool. But I had a situation that happened in my life. My best friend called me yesterday, or 2 days ago now, and let me know that a mutual friend of ours, a good friend of his, and kind of an acquaintance / minor friend to me, committed suicide. It was found that he did it on Sunday. And I won't get into the reasons. I won't disclose what was happening there. But what he did, I understand why he did it, right? I understand that feeling of being low. I understand that feeling of being depressed beyond all recognition. I understand what it's like. But ladies and gentlemen, friends out there, family, I don't want to get another call like that. If you're feeling like that, if you're feeling like that is the solution to whatever problem you're in, call me, message me, email me, do something, get in contact with me. And if you don't want to get in contact with me because you feel it's going to be embarrassing or whatever, call 988. Get in contact with the suicide prevention hotline. Don't make a permanent solution of a temporary problem. Your life is worth something. You are loved. We want you on this earth. There's so much more that you can accomplish and so much more that you can do. And I don't want to lose you. So that's my quick side note for today. We're going to leave it all alone and kind of move into the film. I'm going to pull that up, but while I'm pulling that up, I want to kind of make another announcement about the channel. As for the other plays, I have 9 plays. Like usually get 8 to 10 plays, but this time I got 9, and I didn't want to do too much with the plays. So I took 3 additional plays, and I've already put one out there as a YouTube short. If you guys want to look at that information or look at that video, you feel free to go ahead and check out that YouTube short. It does involve that ginormous, amazing hit from Dario Gumbawale that he put on Irwin or whatever that guy's name was from 16 is who it was on the Bengals. Feel free to go look that up. It is out there. Give it a like, give it a click, give it a watch. It's pretty good stuff. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into the film. I will say that even though we played extremely good and did a really, really good job, we could have done better. And that's okay, ladies and gentlemen. That's perfectly fine. That we could do better. We're a young team. We're getting there. And let's kind of start with play 1. I want to review this play because I think it has some good in it, some bad, some ways that we can learn. All right. So as we're looking at this play, we see it's an incompletion. I think this is our first drive. Dalton Schultz, it's a pass to Dalton Schultz. He kind of clears, doesn't really clear the linebacker. The pass is behind him. The linebacker jumps up and gets to it. And as we watch the play again, I'll pause it and you guys can see some stuff. So it looks like the initial throw is right here to Robert Woods. 1, he's not ready, and 2, this DB's driving on the ball. The right side of the field, really, to CJ's right, it's not even open yet. Like Dalton Schultz is probably the most open here, and he's got this little pocket right here, but CJ's not even looking at him, right? You've got Robert Woods up here, you've got Noah Brown, it looks to be Tank Dell down here, and then you got Dalton Schultz here in the middle. What we see, though, is Dalton Schultz kind of slows down. He slows up. Now, I understand why he slows up. When we look at it, he's slowing up because he's diagnosed that there is a pocket. There's a place right here for him to kind of sit. And there's plenty of yards between him, the safety, him and the safeties and this linebacker here. So he could possibly run for a first down. So I think he's trying to help CJ by giving him this space. However, CJ's not looking at him. And when CJ does pop over to him, he's already slowed down. He's already slowed down, so he's not finishing that route. And so what you end up seeing here, and again, this is kind of some nitpicky stuff. What you're seeing here is a little bit of a miscommunication, right? CJ's still expecting him to sit. He doesn't see the linebacker there. He's not helped out by his tight end. He's trying to hit him on time so he can keep running, but that linebacker is there. Dalton Schultz needs to run a little faster. And if I show you this play again, you'll see what I mean from the tight view. If Dalton Schultz just runs through here, look, if he's running full speed, he has this other space right here. If he doesn't slow it up a bit, and you could see it, right? And we'll go to the wide view so you can see what I'm really talking about here before we move on to the next play. Look, he's got this little zone right here, but if he keeps moving, he's also got this little zone right here because this guy's following Robert Woods, and this guy won't get there in time. So all that to say, I'm not saying this is a terrible play. It's not a terrible play call. We could have done some stuff. We could have kept the drive alive had it just been better communication, had it just been better chemistry between the teammates. We're starting to see that chemistry start to cement itself. It's very few of these mistakes that we're seeing now, very few of these miscommunications and misunderstandings that are happening on the field. And that's what you like to see. You like to see a young team grow pretty well, right? And CJ did have time on this pass. He had a little bit more time to hold that ball and get that out. But let's move on to the next play. And while we're going through plays, if you guys have any questions or concerns about a play, if you want to see something else, please feel free to stop me. I'm willing to kind of talk this through and look. This play we love. It's a touchdown. Touchdown to Tank Dell. Great move to cut back inside, freeze the CB, beat 3 people to the goal line and get in. Love it, Tank. But as we get back to the wide view, what I want you guys to do is look at the top left of your screen. I think you'll see something that is interesting to you. Obviously, we watched Tank here, we watched Dalton, but looky there. Let me go back a bit. I'm going to go back a little bit further so you can see. Ooh. Now I know the ball is out here, but this is Robert. This right here is Tank Dell. Robert Woods is running this way, and if I go a little bit further back, actually, the ball's still in his hand. He's watching here, right? And he has to commit to Tank because Tank has this ability. This ball also could have gone to Robert Woods. This is a key example of great film review, of great not film review, great play calling and great scheme, because it's not just one person that's open here. We see Robert Woods gets open. We see Tank Dell gets open, right? Technically, you have a dump off here to Singletary, and Schultz isn't even open at all. He's kind of covered by four guys. But you begin to see that there's at least 1 to 2 people that are supposed to be open on these plays. CJ makes the right read. We get into the end zone. Good stuff. Good stuff 7, good stuff 3. All right, let's look at this play here. Yes. So as we're looking at this play, we all are probably upset that Dalton Schultz did not make this catch. And I would normally agree with you. Dalton Schultz, and I'm saying Dalton Schultz should have made this catch. But what I want you guys to see is this. Ball still in his hand. He's starting to throw. But look right here. This is if he's even, he's leaving, right? Look right here. Look right here. CJ Stroud had options on this throw. I think Dalton Schultz is the right throw, though, because again, if he's even, he's leaving, and he did beat him. He didn't beat him very well, but he did end up beating him. And I mean, you've got some people that are open there. Noah Brown, who we know he trusts, right? We know he trusts Tank Dell. These guys were open. Now, I'm not going to say he messed up, right? I'm not going to say this is a mess up of a play. These are plays that show you that he is still a rookie, and that's okay. There are plays that he could make that would probably get more yards. And here's why I say this. He already beat him. If this ball is thrown over here with anticipation, it is a walk-in touchdown. He beat him already if he threw this ball here instead of throwing it to here. This is a walk-in touchdown for Tank Dell. These are things that as CJ starts going back and he starts seeing more things and he starts getting better and better, you'll start to see him make these throws, particularly this one right here. One of the things that V, you're saying, I kind of agree with that. I wonder if he does trust Robert Woods anymore. And has that trust not gone to Noah Brown? When Robert Woods was hurt and Noah Brown was hurt, we did see a little bit of a decline, but he seemed to trust Tank and Nico a lot more. And Mechie started to get some reps, and Hutchinson started to get the ball a bit. We are starting to see, I think, the phasing out of Robert Woods, and that's tough because Robert Woods is a great run blocker. He's very good at that. I do know. I've heard the conversations. Bengals fans were wondering how we were always open. Yes, that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. And yeah, it is pretty scary to think how much Tank is consistently open. You don't want to throw the ball to him all the time, but if he's open all the time, I mean, what else are you supposed to do? All right. Let's take a look at a good play. I know there was uh this is a good play here. I like it. It ends up not being a touchdown because the ref said Robert Woods stepped out of bounds. We don't know. I'm not here to look at that. I'm here to show you guys the truth, right? I'm here to show you guys the best of this play, right? And one thing that I want you guys to see, that even though that he makes a great play and a great throw here on target, on time, and a great catch is made by Robert Woods, I want you to look underneath. I want you to look down here. Look at that. Look at that. This is where I hate to bring up Davis Mills here, but this is where that check down ability of Davis Mills, a check down tendency of Davis Mills would have come in play here, and it would have been the right play. Covered, 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 open. This could have been an easy pitch and catch to Devin Singletary for a touchdown. Easy. It didn't happen that way, and it's okay. Again, these are rookie plays, and these are miscommunications that we're not seeing. Singletary doesn't raise his hand. He's looking for the ball, but he's not raising his hand to get the, putting up the mailbox and say, hey, look, I'm wide open. Now, I'm not saying that CJ Stroud didn't see it. He might have not, or he might have thought he couldn't squeeze it into that window. But that is a play that's pretty easy to make, and he could have made that play right here. Makes this throw right here on the money, on the numbers, on the money right here, hits him in the hands. He's walking in easily. That's the reason I wanted to show you guys this play, right? It's not like we were bad. It's not like we weren't, or it's not like we were or terrible here. What we were was what we continue to leave points on the field. We continue to not take as many easy points. And if we're having playoff aspirations, we need to take those easier points. We need to make those easier plays, because that's what good teams do. They make those easy plays. And if we want to get into the playoffs and make some noise, we're going to have to start making those plays. All right, let's get on to the next play here. Ah, yes. Etchie is a really good run blocker. That is true. Sheldon Rankins and this D-line had an absolute day. I mean, Joe Burrow is more athletic than you think, but still, this guy, even getting out of this, the pursuit, that swarm mentality, and we know what swarm means, right? It's special worth ethic and relentless mindset, right? That, or relentless mentality, that special work ethic and that relentless mentality shows up here. It's this is what you're wanting to see. This is what we've been missing all year. Good D tackle play. Good D tackle play allows our edges to do what needs to do. Look at this. Look at this. Kappa is getting destroyed by Sheldon Rankins. Pushed aside like a child. Got up, hit him again. Craziness. That's the kind of defense you want to have. This is what we've been looking for all year. It's a great point here made by Last Son here. Points are still on the board, and we're still a top 5 passing attack. We're still a top 10 offense. Like, this offense is good. This team is better than people thought. I know at the beginning of the season, I'm not bringing out receipts, but I know at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of conversation about how our passing game wasn't the best. Also, fumble was caused here. We just didn't recover it. Our run game was probably going to be our strength. We weren't going to have a good passing game. We have a top 5 passing game in the league. Like, top 5. That's insane. That's crazy. We're up there with Patrick Mahomes, with Justin Herbert, right? With Joe Burrow before he goes out. Right? We're up there with the best of the best. Yeah. This is insane. I don't know why they didn't double team him all game because he was just blowing him up. All right, let's move forward. Let's move to the next play. And I think we'll like it. It's a pretty good one. Here we kind of use Dalton Schultz as the fullback, and he does his job. He blocks. And we rush for a rushing touchdown from further out than the one. Finally. Good stuff here. Good blocking, good play call, good execution. See, there are three things obviously that go into plays, right? It's the play call itself. Is the play call a good play, right? And then there's execution, right? If your execution is good, your play should work. And then thirdly, it's the precision of how you do it, right? If you are precise in your play calling, it doesn't matter if you mess up. It doesn't matter if you accidentally go out a yard too far or the pitch is a little low or whatever. But if you are precise in the movements, even though Singletary had to stop, he didn't catch this on the run. He had to stop and catch it. Even those little mistakes that you could clean up, if those things are precise enough, where you're doing the right things 99% of the time, you're gonna win. So we get precision, we get execution, and we get a good play call. It all culminates into a good looking touchdown run, stuff that we haven't seen all year. Beautiful, beautiful game by Devin Singletary. Hats off to him for Offensive Player of the Week. Beautiful run blocking there. Beautiful blocking by Schultz, who a lot of people said he couldn't block. He's proving you wrong, folks. We're gonna have to start having a discussion real quick about who comes back because of that. And yes, we move on to another really good play. And I'm not gonna lie here, folks. This is probably my favorite play of the game, or at least top 3 at the very least. This is probably my favorite play of the game, and the reason it's my favorite play of the game is because it shows that processing that CJ Stroud has, that everybody says he couldn't do, right? That he was slow at it. Look how quick he makes that decision. It's less than 2 seconds. He gets that ball and it's 1,000, 1,000. Oh, gone. He's already there. Like, he knows what's happening. And later in the game, we see the exact same thing happen for Burrow, and he's praised for it because he escapes. I think it actually might have been earlier in the game. He escapes. He gets out of there. CJ Stroud does the exact same thing, and he runs it in easily for a touchdown. This was a shootout, but really a shootout just for the Texans because honestly, in that fourth quarter, we were up 27-17. We should have blown this team out. But it's plays like these in which you're beginning to see the Texans are learning. This is our best O-line play. This is the best, some of the best our quarterback has played. Some of the best our running backs have played. This is the best that our receivers have played. Look at Noah Brown. He's had his best game of the season. That's insane. This is the levels that we weren't seeing. And yeah, you're right. Rankins did ask regarding he did talk about how he kind of talking trash to the team here. Why aren't y'all doubling me? Because he's getting cooked all game, and we will never know. But yes, good shout out to Titus on that rushing TD. The first one, he did his job and he did it well. Shout out to him here as well. Him and that offensive line blocked very well. They that double team just allows a wide open lane. And you're right, refs don't really look in. If it's taking longer than 2 seconds, that's where you begin to see holding calls called. But because CJ was quick to make his decision, because it was like that, he gets there fast. And that's something that we weren't seeing from CJ Stroud. Let's move ahead to the next play. It's our 8th play. We got one more after this. All right. And this one's not the greatest. It's not the greatest look for Pitre here. I'll say at the beginning of the game, I want to kind of comment on this play because it's a good play. It's a good play call, and it should have worked. Petrie commits a bit too much to the inside because I don't think he thinks that this ball's getting handed off. And Joe Mixon makes a great play. He jumps over it and gets out of it. If he doesn't, we're calling this a great play call. And it almost worked. It almost worked. But we need Petrie to make plays like that. That's why he's got the C on his chest, right? He's supposed to be making plays like this. And this just missing, man, had he got there, that's a momentum killer. That's a momentum killer. That shifts momentum all back into our favor. And we're looking at a much bigger blowout. Didn't happen. I understand why it didn't happen. It's plays like these that we're going to need to get better. If you want Super Bowl aspiration, you can't have this. And yes, Petrie, the entire team really needs to work on their tackling. We have a lot of missed tackles on the Texans, but we definitely got to work on that tackling. And I need Petrie to do that as well. All right, let's get on to this last play here. And I think it's fantastic. I need y'all to understand just how good this play is. And yeah, Petrie should have eased up for a sec, just a little bit, just to freeze everything and blow it up at the beginning. Yeah. Great play. And this is more of a Noah Brown play than a CJ Stroud or anybody else play. Noah Brown's effort is what gets us here and gets us into winning position. Noah Brown literally gets his glove ripped off. Like, do you understand the amount of craziness you have to do to rip a man's glove off mid-game while he's carrying the football and still not tackle him? Great playing by Noah Brown. And you're beginning to see Noah Brown and CJ get that connection as well. They're starting to get good. They're starting to heat up, and it's working. Noah Brown has the longest completion, like yards per completion on the team. That's craziness. Now, he doesn't have the most yards. That's Nico Collins. And then it's Tank Dell, right? But you're beginning to see that even though the ball's getting spread around, it looks like we're going to have 4 1,000-yard receivers, which I don't think has ever been done. And you're right. This is a grown man run after catch. This is what you see in high school ball with dudes who are too big. Like when they're just too big because they're already ready to go into college and they're huge. This is what you see. You see this kind of play. That's the beauty of what we're seeing from the Texans. The players are playing harder. We didn't see this last year. We didn't see players playing really, 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 really hard because there was a sense of dejection. There was this sense of just, we're bad. Hey, that ain't the case anymore. Welcome to the new era. We aren't bad. As CJ, as not CJ, as D'Amico said, I'm going to say it again. We're a really good team too. And yeah, Noah Brown risks his body, puts his body on the line. And the other thing I really want to call out on this play, I want y'all to see this. As this play finishes, look, once he continues down the field, look at every player on the field. Look at him. Look at everybody. CJ's the first to do it. You've got a bunch of people calling timeout right there. That is what you want. Look at the recognition. Look at the play calling. Look at how they're doing stuff. Everybody's in sync. We're playing smart football again. That's what you want to see. Well, that's all the plays I've got for you. I mean, I've got 2 other ones, but those will be on shorts later. So keep a peek out on the channel. I'll have 2 additional plays that I will be reviewing over YouTube Shorts, and I'll get those posted shortly. But I think it's time we moved on to the next point. We went through the film review. Let's talk about some points to consider here. First point I wanted to kind of talk about is the run game. There's been a lot of conversation about the run game, and as we start going into this points, put your thoughts in your comments out there. I want to know how you guys feel about these things. But let's talk about a bit about the run game. For the last several weeks, we've been hearing from fans and from media and from people all over that the Texans should stop trying to run the ball and just become a pass-first offense. I get it. We should kind of use that pass to open up the run, right? And that's kind of what we need to do. But We are entering a stretch of some of the worst defenses that, especially against the run, that we're about to play. Arizona, terrible against the run. Bottom 5 team, might even be bottom 3. The Jets, terrible against the run. The only good team against the run really that we have left is the Browns, and they're just good at everything. But man, the run game can't end. You have to run the football. You have to be able to run the football because you cannot rely on CJ Stroud to throw it 60 times a game and for you to win all the time. 2 reasons for that. One, running the ball allows you to maintain time of possession. You want that time of possession. You want to win that war. 2, running the football allows you to wear down the defense and pull people up just so that you have more space deep to get the passes off. And 3, you run the ball because that is a physical portion of the game. It's one of the most physical portions of the game there is. It is the easiest way to impose your will. And you imposing your will that's not just saying, oh yeah, we're strong, we're rough and tough. No, imposing your will here means this is the style of game this is going to be. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tumble. You're going to get wore out. We're going to get wore out, but we are going to be able to survive and persevere. That run game has to work. And I suspect we'll be seeing more of it, especially since we're running into some teams that are not as good against the run. And it's a great point here, last son. The run game isn't just here to set up the play action. It is also there to run time off the clock, right? It's there to help control the ball. We're going up against Kyler Murray this game. Now, I know he didn't play that well last game, but Kyler Murray, if he gets hot, you don't want him on the field. He's very good when he's good, right? You don't want him on the field. Running the ball allows us to keep him off the field more. Long, sustained drives, which comes from running the football, allows you to do that. If we can do that this week, we have a good chance of coming out 6-4. And yeah, I do agree, lack of continuity. However, we now have had 4 players, the same 4 players on the line out of 5, these last like 5 weeks. Titus Howard and Tunsil are on the left side. Tunsil also, being the left tackle, and Titus being the left guard. That has been consistent for like the last 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. Shaq Mason and George Fant, they've been there the whole season. The only change really has been the center. And that Michael Dieter is doing really well. So I don't foresee us having much more change. Maybe insert Juice in there when he's ready to come back, if he's ready to come back this year. But yes, at the beginning of the season, that lack of continuity wasn't working, right? And let's see, Miko. Yeah, he did say that. And I know Jonathan Gannon said something of the same. So keep a thought out on that, right? We'll come back to that. A little bit of foreshadowing. Let's also look at growth. This is the thing I really wanted to kind of talk about. One of the things we've been seeing significantly from this team is growth. We're seeing insane growth. You don't get a rookie making anticipation throws at one of the best clips in the NFL. I think he's only behind Tua in his anticipation throws. You don't get somebody like that often. You don't get somebody who breaks a record like crazy. Like, that's not normal. Breaking a record. Like, that's like set by Cam Newton, Andrew Luck. Like, CJ's on pace right now to blow out Andrew Luck's rookie passing record for the season. He's also on pace to have one of the best touchdown to interception ratios out there for a season of any QB. That's crazy. That's insane. And we've only seen him start to get better. We're seeing the O-line start to gel. We're seeing why we paid them so much, because they are starting to actually get that good pass blocking and give CJ time. Run blocking, different story. We'll talk about that also. We're also beginning to see things like our defense starting to gel. Last year, we were the worst team against the run. We are now a top 5 run defense team in the NFL. Think about that. We were the worst team, and now we are a top 5 run defense team. We are insane. We're a top 20 defense in terms of total yards allowed. We're a top 10 defense in terms of points allowed. We've only given up more than 30 points twice this season, to the Bucks and to the Colts. We have grown significantly in these last 10 to 11 weeks, and I'm excited to see what more of that growth is. And because of this insanely quick growth that we're seeing, I'm hoping that that brings in additional people next year, additional people who want to play in Houston because they want to get a piece of this insane run that we're on. Which leads me to the team's future. What do I see for us this year? Let's look short term first. And you guys go ahead and put in the comments what you guys think for the team's future can be. Yeah, that is true. We were without our starting safeties. Yeah, that's true. That's very 49ers of us. A lot of injuries, and we're still winning. But let's talk about the team's future and put this in your comments. What do you think the team's future is short term and long term? And by short term, where do you think we end up this year? At the beginning of the season, I'll be transparent. I said we win 7 to 9 games. I think I was low. I think it's pretty simple for the Texans to, if we can go 5-3, that's 10-7. I think we can win 6 of these last 8 games. That's 11-6. That's really good. I think we can sweep the division. That's 4 more games. The Jags, the Colts, the Titans, and the Titans still, right? We still have those games. We could, if we sweep them, that's 4 more games. That's 9. That's not a bad thought, right? But I don't want to cap us. But where I think we will end up most likely is the divisional round. I think that's where we get bounced, unless we get a favorable matchup. I think our high this year is that we could meet the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Ravens, somebody like that in the AFC Championship game and make some noise. And that's going to be crazy. I think we can go on a Super Bowl run in 2024 if we get the right people. 2025 is that's where I thought we'd be making the playoffs in 2025 and start that Super Bowl run in 2026. I think we're entering that window already. I think you're right on that, V. Yeah, I think CJ honestly might end up all pro this year. And I think he's going to get rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. It's craziness. And we have receipts here. My wife on TV said that she thinks we're going to win 9 to 11 games. She might be right. And I have the receipts. I can post the video. She has said that for real. So, hey, shout out to the queen. Love you, babe. Predicted 7 wins. VT, we've talked about this many times. You and I have said both of us predicted 7 to 9 wins and thought that was not unreasonable. Now it looks like it is unreasonable, like because we were going way too low. That's crazy. Do y'all think Robert Woods? We'll address that here in a little bit. Let's get kind of back. Yeah. Let's kind of move on because we were talking about the team's future, right? So yeah, I do think we possibly shock the world and get 11 wins, and that's crazy to think. Crazy. And a team, especially if we go 6-2, that's a hot team going into the playoffs. No team will want to mess with us. Nobody, if that's the case. Let's get back to the conversation with Robert Woods here. Do we think Robert Woods is the odd man out? Well, we signed him to a couple of years. So does he stay here? I'm not so sure. I think we might keep him as a veteran presence. But honestly, I think if Noah Brown's going to continue to play at the level he's playing at, keep him. Re-sign Nico. Grab Tank. Right? Like, keep Tank here. If you might run it back with the receivers you've got, maybe cut Robert Woods and go grab another one in the draft, grab somebody like Mike Evans and raise the floor of your wide receiver room drastically. That would be pretty cool. I'd do that. Um, I don't know if I doubt he's here next year. He might be here still. But yeah, I think he is kind of the odd man out. And giving Metch and Hutch more touches, uh, I agree with that. I do want to see what they can do. Mechie has been getting more touches. He's been getting steadily more and more catches every game. I think if for any reason Robert Woods is gone, it's going to be because of Noah Brown and John Mechie. Mainly John Mechie, because I think John Mechie is as good of a blocker as him, surprisingly. And he's a bit faster and he's younger. Yeah, and we could legit go 5-1 in our division. I like what I'm seeing from Hutch. I like Hutch is playing his behind off. He's playing his tail off, especially on special teams. Love to see it. Love to see him on the field. I'd like to see him catch the ball more. There was a pass in the first quarter where the ball was thrown directly to him and he just couldn't catch it. He couldn't hang on for whatever reason. And it hit him in the hands. He caught it and he just dropped it after contact. I would love to see him hold on more. I think it's just going to be off season in the weight room stuff. And if you sign a Mike Evans, that's crazy. Like, I don't think you guys understand how crazy our wide receiver room would get with that talent here. But yeah. So in the team's future, we talked short term playoffs this year. I think that's absolutely an option. VT kind of brought up a good point that we were looking at that Super Bowl run probably in 2026, but now 2025 seems to be the year that we're kind of looking down at it. I want y'all to realize something, that a good chunk of us who are content creators for the Texans or for the NFL in general, most of us stated that this was going to it'll be a better year, but it's still a rebuild year. We didn't have that talent yet. And now we're looking like the best situation. We are a year ahead of where everyone thought we would be, at a minimum, a year ahead. 7 to 9 wins this year was supposed to be the goal, and next year was supposed to be where we are right now, looking at the playoffs. Like that, we are way ahead of where we're supposed to be. I think next year is the start of that Super Bowl window, especially if we make it to an AFC Championship game. That's crazy. I don't know what this in reference to, Murray, but I'm assuming it's Mike Evans. But yeah, I would love to see us grab Mike Evans on this wide receiver crew and just go off. Love to see that. All right. We've kind of talked about everything regarding to these points that we should consider. One of the things I really wanted to kind of talk about is what do we think of going forward in regards to the season and really kind of look at this next game. So one of the things I really wanted to review, and I'm not going to pull up any stats because I don't want to get copyrighted or anything like that, but one of the things that is out there, and please feel free to put this in the chat, we're going up against, like I said earlier, we're going up against a lot of teams that are really bad against the run and a lot of teams that don't have the best offense. The Broncos don't have a good offense. The Jets have a terrible offense. The Titans don't really have a good offense. The Colts are and their defense is not that great either, right? And then you've got the Arizona Cardinals. The only team that is kind of scary in terms of defense is the Browns, but they don't have a legitimate offense. We have a shot to really shock the world here in these next 8 games. A good shot to go out there and walk away 6-2, 7-1, and dominate. Going into the playoffs with 7 wins. 7 more wins puts us at 12-5. That's probably the 3 spot. Maybe a 4. Depends on what's going on in the rest of the league. That's crazy if you think about it. Do we see that happen? I don't know. But what I would like to see from us in the short term is for us to start stacking wins and doing it in style, doing it with a margin of victory. Um, okay, yes, Evans, cool, cool, cool. And I do think we could be a good destination for some disgruntled wide receivers going forward. But here's the thing that I really think that people have forgotten. We've talked about it in spaces on Twitter a bit, but the biggest thing that nobody's talking about is, yes, DeMeco has coached against Kyler 2 times a year for 3 years, and so he kind of knows what he's doing. Matt Burke, our defensive coordinator, we got him from Carolina, or not from Carolina, from the Cardinals, from Arizona. He was the defensive line coach on that team. He's seen Kyler day in and day out. Oh, and who else did we bring from Arizona? Majai Sanders comes over from there. He knows Kyler as well. He played on the defensive line. He knows what to do there. He's seen everything Kyler can do. So in this game, our defense, I think, does more. Not just the first half script we pull out for Lamar, but I think we shut it down. Like, I think we just go in there and dominate physically, scheme wise. We know what they're trying to do. We're just going to shut it down. I think also to beat Kyler, you got to collapse. You got to keep that edge. You need to have edge discipline. If you can contain those edges and not let him force him to stay in the pocket and then start to collapse it on him, he'll get in trouble quickly. And then you have your linebackers come in and beat him up a little bit, touch him up some. And Cashman and you've got Chris Harris still out there. I think that's I know Corey Littleton was pulled up, but we've got the linebackers to be able to do it. Other thing about this game going forward, I don't foresee us playing a lot of 4-3. I don't see us playing a lot of our base. I think we're going to go nickel a lot here in this game and let Petrie just go off because that's where he's at his best, going off. I think we're going to see a lot more man coverage here. Not that I'm saying I'm disrespecting their DBs or anything like that, but their DBs are not the caliber of DBs we've played in other games this year. We've played some good defenses, and we've still pieced them up. This is a team that we can go in and piece up pretty well. And I do agree with this. For our future, we're going to need to learn how to finish out games. I think we're learning. We're getting there, but we need to learn how to finish out games early. I think we learned that in the Steelers game. We did that pretty well there. We did that pretty well against who's that other team that we beat pretty handily? I know we beat the Steelers bad, and there was another team that we beat pretty bad at home. But yeah, so we have an option. We have the ability to win. We have the ability to do stuff. But yeah, ooh, yes. So Harris does like to play that bad boy. I need Harris to be more decisive and faster. I do think their secondary is weak, V. I think the problem, though, is they haven't really been tested. They have a really good passing defense according to their stats. But I think the reason their passing defense is so good looking is partly because everybody can run the ball well against them. I think they give up 150 almost 150 yards a game on the ground. That's crazy. The Jags are another good team, but I'm not. Here's why I'm gonna. I don't know, Retreat Hell, if you are a Jags fan or not. But one thing about the Jags that I have noticed is the Jags are wildly inconsistent. 1 week, they go toe to toe with the best teams in the NFL and make them look human. And then the next week, they struggle against lower talent. So I'm wondering how bad the Jags are or how good the Jags are. I know V went all in and said that they're frauds. I don't think they're frauds. I think that they are fool's gold. you think that they're golden, you think that they're good, but in reality, they're that team that gets blown out in the first round of the playoffs. They're not a one seed. They're a fake one seed. The best thing that you can kind of call them really is the Tennessee Titans that were the one seed and then got beat in the first round of the playoffs. That's kind of what they are. Fool's gold. They aren't. They're good. Their wins are. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of their wins. That's kind of what I want to say there. I think. Uh, yeah, they are. I think they have a better DC though, and better better head coach than what we have in Jonathan Gannon. I think Jonathan Gannon is underrated. He's had that team play hard for him. Yeah, they get run on a lot. So yeah, we talked about this. V, you and I had this discussion. Teams can run all over them, so that's why their passing numbers are so low. So like nobody passes against them because you don't have to. You can just run the ball. Yeah, and T Law's only won one game, 6 interceptions, sacked 8 times. Yeah, I think that continues, especially at his house. He hasn't beat us. I think he's only beat us at home once, and that was when it was like the last game of the season, and they were surefire going to the playoffs. Yeah, it didn't matter. So yeah, that's the only win he's got against a bad team. That's bad. Let's kind of get into questions and comments. We've been talking about this. Let's keep the conversation going for a little bit. We are his kryptonite, T-Law. He's not good. I don't know why we make him so uncomfortable, but shoot, we got his number. Yeah, and this is also another point. Trevor Lawrence, we're talking about the Jags. Trevor Lawrence is not like he's not playing up to that generational talent that we thought he would be. I remember having conversations that were dumb, saying that maybe we should trade away Deshaun Watson and try and draft Trevor Lawrence when he came out. Yeah, I'm happy where we are. I'm happy with the decisions we've made, and because of that, I think we need to give some flowers to Nick Caserio because he didn't make dumb choices. He got who he got, and this draft class looks amazing. And we seem to be dominating, right? We seem to be good. Executive of the year is not out of the question for him. This is a really good question, and I hope it brings some engagement in here. But go ahead and comment who you guys think we should keep after the season. In my opinion, I think Dalton Schultz needs to be a keeper. I really like how Noah Brown is playing with us, so I would love to keep him on this team. I want to bring back Kendrick Green. I know he's got another year, I think, on his contract, but I would like to keep him. I think you keep Sheldon Rankins over Malik Collins. I think he's played better. Bring back Jonathan Grenard and Nico Collins. Obviously, those are people you're going to sign going forward. I think I said Dalton Schultz already. Who else? Who else is a good one? Go ahead and throw that out there if you guys have another person. Steven Nelson. I think you have to make a choice with Steven Nelson, right? Do you keep Steven Nelson and bring him back, or do you try and test the market and bring back somebody else who's possibly better than Steven Nelson? Try and get a Patrick Surtain. Try and grab one of those DBs from the Jets. Really good. Players like that. Who do you bring back there? I think the real question is, who do we let go? I think Jerry Hughes is done after this year. I think Robert Woods is done. Oh yeah, Blake Cashman. Yes, good call out. Blake Cashman. I don't think the reason you bring back Sheldon Rankins V here is not because you're saying you want him to be your starter, but imagine your floor with Sheldon Rankins if he is not your starter. What's up, Beige? Good to see you. Also, good to see everybody in here. Thanks for coming in. Retreat, thanks for coming in. V, thanks for coming in. Last Sun, thanks for coming in. Beige. Everybody, Murray, everybody who's commented in the chat. Kelly, there's my wife. Say hi to my wife, y'all. Everybody who's in here, thank you guys for coming in. The reason, not this one. The reason I would bring Sheldon Rankins back is because if you could sign players like Grover Stewart and sorry about that alarm. But if you could sign players like Grover Stewart, if you could sign players like Javon Kinlaw or one of these three in oh, I just had his name in my head. Current Bengal DT. He played for us. I can't think of his name right now. My mind escapes me. I'm in a lot of pain and I'm kind of tired, but it is what it is. DJ Reader. If we could get DJ Reader here and Grover Stewart and Javon Kinlaw or two of those three, imagine that D tackle room. You don't need Kurt Heinisch anymore. Kurt Heinisch is probably gone. Right? Malik Collins, I think, has another year on his contract. So you keep him. You have if Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins are coming off your bench, that's crazy. And at the same time, right? Yeah, it is DJ Reader. Yeah. If you have a good person like Grover Stewart or DJ Reader, that is as we're saying, this is a perfect Robin to the Batman of that player, right? Rankins getting 10 million, that's fine. Get rid of cut Malik Collins. But imagine DJ Reader and Javon Kinlaw. That's worth it, right? Now you have starting DTs that can dominate. And then when you bring in your backups, you're still dominating. That's crazy. That's the Eagles formula right there. And why Rankins has only had really one good game. Malik Collins has had been more consistent with sacks. If you can keep them both and get some good additional DT talent and draft someone, why not? Build the trenches. That's our weakest spot. And our second weakest spot, I know everybody's going to say wide receiver. Second weakest spot is secondary. We do not have secondary depth. We need to get secondary depth. And because of that, I think some of these players that we've grabbed for our depth at O-line and such, I think those players get cut, unfortunately. And that's going to be a rough battle because who do you keep between Heck and Fant? Fant's been serviceable all year, but we know Heck has been pretty serviceable. Sometimes he sucks. Same thing with Fant. But who do you keep? Who do you keep at left guard? Kenyon Green, Kendrick Green. You've got Juice Scruggs coming back, right? There is so many people, so many choices on that offensive line. Center, Nick Broker. Does he make this team again? Right? It's crazy. So yeah, I guess you got to keep Malik. That's insane. But yeah, maybe extend him. I don't know. I don't really want Malik extended, but maybe we got to do that. Fant might be gone, so we might just be keeping Heck because of Fant being gone. Because he wants to start, and Titus is our right tackle. So yeah, the league. We have really good O-line depth. Who do we give up though? That's the problem that we really want to see, and that's a conversation I think for another day and for another time. What I want to know though is, do you guys have any additional questions for me? Because we are running out of time. Any additional questions? Any thoughts? Any concerns? Anything else you guys can think of? Put those in the chat. And while you guys are doing that, I want to remind you guys, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to get in contact with me, in the description of this channel or in the description, you guys will see all my contact information. You guys will see that this is also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts as well as here on YouTube. Feel free to get in contact with me here on my email, on Twitter, X, whatever the heck it is, and Discord. I'm there as well. When was the last time a Texan had 3 sacks? And JJ, maybe? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know when the last time that was. Was it Clowney? Maybe Merciless. Merciless had a couple really good games in there. Any DBs I would target in the draft? I have not been following college football DBs, so I do not know. That is a question for those of you who are in the spaces. For Leo, he knows a lot of that stuff. I would get in contact if you can. Try and bring Jordan, aka Texans Thoughts, out of hiding, and maybe he can give us some people that we can look at. But I am generally not a draft guy. Um, that's just not my thing. So, do we get another running back? Yes. Honestly, we've had this conversation, and I think the if I'm gonna be honest, this is probably I've had inclinations of trying to go for Josh Jacobs, and I've talked a little bit about Saquon Barkley with some other people, but I wouldn't mind grabbing an Alvin Kamara if we could. I think Josh Jacobs is the person we go to because he's probably going to be a little bit cheaper, uh, and he does a pretty fine job. But imagine Alvin Kamara this offense. Um, and I know V is going to come in here. He probably already has talk about Blake Corum uh, from Michigan, but I think we probably we grab Josh Jacobs, keep Singletary, keep Pierce, let go of Boone, and draft the guy. That's probably what's going to happen. And maybe Dare walks as well, most likely. Other draft crushes. I do like Blake Corum. I know that's gonna set off VT because he is what he is on that. But um I'm kind of a fan of Malik Neighbors and Emeka Egbuka. I really, really like the thought of bringing in Emeka Egbuka or Malik Neighbors into this team. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is a thing, but something about Malik Neighbors, something about Egbuka really, really gets to me. I really like those players. Bernard had 2.5. That ain't 3, but it is close. I don't know about Blake Corum in the second round, Blake Corum in the third round, maybe. But he probably won't fall that far. He is the closest. Yeah, but yeah, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs would dominate here. He'd go insane. I would love that. Okay. Promote Darty Kicker. No. Let's resign. That's other players we should resign and bring back. Remember, both our kicker and our punter are free agents next year. Bring them back. Extend them both. Punt God, literally, in Cam Johnson and Bill Burr. Emeka Egbuka is one for me. Worthy, I'm not so into Worthy. I know he's a speed demon, but Xavier Worthy is not one of my guys that I'm looking at. One, because his hands and ball tracking kind of worry me a bit. I think he's turning into like a Jameson Williams, or he'll look like a Jameson Williams, or look like a Will Fuller who can't stay healthy. And Will Fuller, his first year, who couldn't catch, kept dropping stuff. I like Egbuka a lot. But I mean, again, I don't really follow college ball right there. It's a bit too much. That's too much to follow. That's a lot of film to watch. Hundreds of teams. Dunze, I'll have to look him up later rounds. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Anything else? I'm having a good time chatting with you guys. It's pretty fun. A couple of points I'll say that I wanted to bring up. One, this is probably I do like Keon Coleman. Good call out retreat. Yeah, I do like Keon Coleman as well. He's a good one. But again, I haven't gotten to watch a lot of his film. I wish I could, but again, I haven't yet. So we'll see how that goes. One of the things I really wanted to kind of bring up, though, is this was probably our best run game that we've had. So kind of closing out points. But since this is our best run game, this is why I really want to target somebody like Josh Jacobs or like an Alvin Kamara. Imagine them like Josh Jacobs would be perfect. Saquon would be pretty good as well, but I think he's too much money. I think Josh Jacobs is the cheaper one and better. That would be insane. And then I think we can replicate what we did last game offensively. I think we can replicate that against the Cardinals, and I think our defense tees off. And so we just need to keep getting healthy. Biggest surprise player, not named Noah, CJ Noah, or Cashman. Cashman really wasn't a surprise player. He played pretty well last year. He just was hurt. Biggest surprise player. This was a tough one. If we're going to go based off of the preseason, I think it's got to be Shaq Griffin. Shaq Griffin did not look good in the preseason at all. He didn't look good in training camp. He didn't look good in the preseason. And we thought, man, this signing is going to be terrible. And he has played at a really, really high level. He's been phenomenal. I think he's been good. Grenard is really good. Kelly, yeah, he's been really good, but he's also been getting these sack numbers. He was just getting hurt. He just couldn't stay healthy. He had, I think, 9 sacks one year, 8 another. He just never finished a season. He's never gone more than 11 games, I think. If he can finish this season, I can foresee him getting double-digit sacks. And that's insane. I think we could possibly have 3 double-digit sack guys on our team this year. So that's insane. Yeah, I think none of us thought that as well. Shaq Griffin, yeah, he does deserve an extension. Yeah, I don't know if he's your Nelson replacement. He's not as locked down, but yeah, I'm on the boat of trying to go grab someone who's really, really good. AJ Terrell, Patrick Surtain, one of those guys. If we can grab them, that would be amazing. And grab a Josh Jacobs at the same time, that would be good. I'd be all for that. But yeah. Any other questions? Anything else? Anything else you guys want to discuss? Anything else? This has been fun, guys. I'm loving it. I'm loving the engagement. Loving everybody's comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to like, really, and subscribe. I want to see if I can't get to 100 subscribers. That'd be pretty cool. If there aren't any more questions, I don't see anything. But if there aren't any more questions, feel free to DM me. If I don't get to your question or if I didn't get to your comment, feel free to DM me as much as you want. I will DM you back. Message me on Twitter. Hit me up. Tag me, whatever. Hit me up on Discord. Text me if you have my number. Come talk to me if you're my wife because you're in the same house as me, obviously. But yeah. And we can have more of this conversation. I think this will be the last question here. V asking, what do you think Stingley's play thus far? I think Stingley he's played really, really well in coverage. I know PFF doesn't grade him the highest, but in coverage, he's really good. He's really good in coverage, especially man coverage. Zone, but man coverage, he's pretty good. It is his run blocking or his run defending that's not great. He needs to get better at that run defending, and he needs to stay healthy. I'm tired of these injuries, and I know they're injuries, they kind of just happen. But he needs to stay healthy, and he needs to get better at run defense because we can't have teams running his way and just going off. That's just not good, especially when they get to the second level. That's my thoughts on Stingley. I think he's playing great. I think he is pretty locked down. Nobody really throws his way when he's on the field because they know what he's doing. The greatest example is if you guys go back and watch the game, the first play of the game for the Browns, they have a little quick out route that is there, and Joe Burrow goes to throw it. Stingley reads it perfectly. and he forces Joe Burrow to bring the ball down and look somewhere else, which ended up being an incomplete pass. And that was the same play that Will Anderson got that hands to the face or that roughing the passer call. But had he thrown that football, that'd have been a pick six. Like it was plain as day. Literally, he read that perfect. Like if he had thrown that football, that'd have been a pick six. Stingley would have had that, and he'd have been gone the other way. Stingley knows what he's doing, and there's a reason they don't throw at him. The NFL quarterbacks are not throwing his way. He is legit. He knows what he's doing. And with that, as I said before, you guys know how it is. We started off by saying it. It's always fun when we get to look through the darkness, kind of look through the craziness of all the stuff that's going on. Try and find that nugget of light and bring everybody right back to the middle. It has been super fun, y'all. It is a great stream. Get ready for the Texans Cardinals. I'm going to be there. If you're there, hit me up on Discord. Hit me up wherever you are. Let me know. We're going to have a lot of fun. Watch out for them Rockets. They're doing good. I want apologies for everybody who said that they weren't going to be that good. They're good. Shut it down. Let's go home. We're having a good time. Peace out, everybody. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next week for the next film review, unless something crazy happens to me. Keep a lookout for those shorts. I'm going to be dropping them here in the next couple of days. If you want to catch everything else, go ahead and put that. If you want to continue the comments with me, go ahead and DM me. Put them in the comments. I'll continue to look at for that. DM me on whatever. Email me. So on and so forth. Love you all. I'll talk to you later.